Morning, everybody. What I want to discuss today is one of the very important minhagim of Shavuos, as we've mentioned previously, is the minhag of staying up all night. Very, very important minhag. We spoke a little bit about the kedusha of the Laila and what a person should learn. We spoke a little bit about the inyan. What I want to do today, Be'ez Hashem, is the inyan of halacha, which is, there are many halachas that we have to know, some of which we're not going to go into too much detail, but just a little bit of an idea, a little bit of a summary of what to know for the night. If you are staying up all night, there are certain halachas that you have to know. The most important ones are really in the morning. If we have some time, we'll get to the ones during the night as well. So let's begin like this. How does it work when it comes to the morning? So here Shachris is 4:30 a.m. and we start with Birchas HaTorah and then we move on. Now the problem is we can't really make Birchas HaTorah because we didn't go to sleep. So we're still up from the day before. So if there wasn't that hefsek, you can't really make Birchas HaTorah. The same is true with the Telis Yadayim. Negel Wasser in the morning, right? There is a machlokes why we wash Negel Wasser, why we're doing the Telis Yadayim in the morning. But if the reason is because we woke up and we may have touched a part of our body that's covered, so then we didn't do that. So do we wash Negel Wasser? That's the few questions that I want to start with right now. And obviously some of the other brachas as well. So without going into, and we're not going into all the details of the machlokes of why and what, whatever it is, let's go straight to Piskei Halachos, because this is negate to every single person over here. Be'ez Hashem, for this morning. And as I said, I think we said this in Sheh, right? Wouldn't it be crazy, like mamash on the day of Kabbalah Torah, not to keep the Torah, like not to keep the halachas that we're meant to be keeping? It's chaval, right? Kabbalah Torah, accepting the Torah. Let's do what the Torah says. Let's do what we have to do. So number one, Netilas Yadayim. Let's go Keseda. Remember these halachas. Number one, Netilas Yadayim. Negel Wasser. So at the moment of Alois HaShacha, a person really should do Negel Wasser. That's what the Ramah tells us in Siman Daled. The question is, can I continue learning until they daven, or do I have to stop in the middle, go to wash Negel Wasser, and then come back and continue? Because Alois is often much before we're going to be starting Shachris. I'm not sure what time Alois is over here on Shavuos morning, but it's before we're probably going to be starting Pesukah December for Shachris. So do I have to stop? It's the Chazon Ish Paskin that you're allowed to continue learning until the time is that you are ready to daven, even if it's after Alois. So, okay, Rabbi Isai, again, if you're learning, continue. Until you're ready to daven, then wash Negel Wasser. However, if you're not learning, or you're having a coffee, you're having a break, whatever it is, so wash Negel Wasser at the moment of Alois. The problem is, can you make a bracha? That's the problem. Can you make a bracha al Netilas Yadayim, which we normally make every single morning? Some people do it in the morning when they come to shul, Keseda HaBracha. Some people make it upstairs, depending on the different shitas. Can you make the bracha or not? So over here, what you should do, the Mishabur says, is actually go to the bathroom first, use the facilities, Vahamivin Yovin, come out of the bathroom, wash Negel Wasser, then you can make a bracha. Because then you're chayiv in the bracha because you've touched the place that's normally covered. And therefore, that is what a person should do on Shavuos morning, use the bathroom and do it in that way, and then go and then wash until it's time and make a bracha. Next, Birchas HaTorah. Birchas HaTorah is a very chashuv bracha. We know that according to many, that's why we lost the Beis Hamikdash. They weren't Birchas HaTorah, whatever that means on their level. They didn't appreciate Torah, they didn't appreciate the Birchas HaTorah. Birchas HaTorah is a very chashuv bracha. For those of you that are, make it to stop, you should make it with a geschmack. We thank the Rabbeinu Shalom, we're praising the Rabbeinu Shalom, we're giving us the Torah to appreciate having the Torah. Birchas HaTorah is a gewaltige Sache. So every morning we make Birchas HaTorah. The question is, can we make it now or not? That is the shayla. So if you wake up, if you're up all night, the question is, can you make it or not? So Lemaisa, really what a person should do is listen to somebody else. It's not negated to you guys, right? I mean, you're not going to be the one standing up by the bimah, right? You're going to hear from somebody else. There are certain people that they cannot stay up the whole night. What can they do? I'm not talking about Yeshiva Bochum, obviously. I'm talking about people, whatever. Yeah, people out there, they just can't stay up the whole night. What do you want them to do, right? They lose the opportunity of staying up the whole night. Chaval. So those people will stand up, and us Yeshiva Bochum, we're going to listen to them. Okay? Now, that's what we should do. And they might see you in the bracha of Birchas HaTorah. Note this as well, that when you answer Birchas HaTorah, you only answer Amen after the words Hamelamed Torah La'am Yisrael and Noisen HaTorah, but not after V'tzivanu Lasik B'divrei Soira. Okay? Now, after hearing the brachas from whoever it is that's going to stand by the bima, you have to say the psukim, Yivarechacham, whatever, Mishnah. right? We say that, and that's what we say, those psukim. Or, what a person could do is, you have in mind that when you say Ava Rabbah, Shavuos morning, the Ava Rabbah Shavuos morning, we wait the whole year for this month, for that time. We're waiting the whole year, Posha, for the Ava Rabbah Shavuos morning. The deal is signed on that Ava Rabbah, Rabbi Yisai. Unbelievable. So what you could do is, by the Ava Rabbah, that's a Chetzi Birchas HaTorah, you could basically have in mind that to be Yotze Yachiva Birchas HaTorah when you say Ava Rabbah, and then after davening, before going to the Kiddush, just open up a sefer and learn for a few minutes. Okay? Now, this is the big kasha, right? This is Rabbi Kiva Eiga. Mr. Brewer brings it a mice and Simon Mem Zayin. What happens if a person was awake the whole night, but he went to sleep on Erev Shavuos? Okay, it's Nagaya. You have a shluf on Erev Shavuos, right? Sunday this year, right? Very simple. It's Erev Yom Tov. You're going to have a shluf in the afternoon to prepare yourself, in order to give yourself the energy, in order to stay up the whole night. Frank Rabbi Kiva Eiga, maybe now you're allowed to do it. Because it's true you stayed up the whole night, but you kind of had a hefsek with the shluf that you had in the afternoon on Erev Yom Tov. Okay? So, Lemaisa, the Mishnah Berurah does bring this down. And he says, since you slept a shinas keva, a serious sleep, Lemaisa, you can make the bracha in the morning. And as I paskin Lemaisa, Reb Shlomo Zalman and others, as Reb Chaim Kanievsky, didn't like it. Some don't like it, but there's definitely what to be soymech on. If you cannot find someone, this is the Geya. Could be here this year, we're not going to find anyone to say Birchas HaTorah for us. It's going to be a big problem. We're going to wait in the morning, there's going to be who's going to say Birchas HaTorah? Nah. First of all, even if you step, you're not going to want to be the guy to stand up by the bima and say, all right, everybody, Shavuos night, yeah, I had to sleep for an hour and a half. Come on, you know? And if you did, don't be the one to, whatever. But if you're stuck, which I remember many years, we were stuck. What do we do? Baruch Hashem. It's kavaldi, but it's not only exclusive to Yeshiva Bacham, by the way. There are many balabatim out there, there are many working people out there that are mamas moise nefesh. I'm getting shalis now from people in America. What should I do? Should I stay up or not? What's the shal? If you can, avadi, you should. It's a beautiful thing. It's almost the deal, the seal, the whole seal of the din is mama's Shavuos night. We're showing the Rabbeinu Shalom. This is everything. Push yourself. So Shishah Pickers has a whole shtickle on this. Staying up the whole night shows the Rabbeinu Shalom that we're going to go l'malam in teva. It's not a normal thing to stay up all night and learn. Maybe, I don't know, I speak for myself, I don't know what you guys do. It's not a normal thing to do. But we show the Rabbeinu Shalom, we're not normal. We want the Torah, that's what we're doing. It's hard, too bad. It's difficult. I'm tired. I'm not down. You heard that one before? You heard that one ever, right? I'm not down. Who cares? Shavuos night, just go for it, pound. Just give it everything you have. That's what it is, right? So, if you're stuck in a chanami, then you can be semech on that. Let's move on, Rabbi say. Alakai neshama, okay? Alakai neshama is a beautiful tefillah. Alakai neshama shenasat bi tahiruhi. It's so beautiful. Our neshamas are so tahor. Our neshamas at the core, the essence, are so pure, are so beautiful. Sometimes a little bit dirty on the outside from various things that we do. But the ma'aseh inside, it's so pure. So if a person was wake up the whole night, you cannot say Alakai neshama, because the ma'aseh, you're not a Bria Chadosh, you didn't wake up, you didn't get the neshama back. It wasn't a regular situation of you giving the neshama to Rabbeinu Shalom as a pikoton to watch the whole night, and you got it back the next morning, which is, by the way, what we should actually feel and think every time we wake up in the morning. Rabbeinu Shalom, you gave me my neshama back. How many people in the morning, in the world, I never did a search on this, how many people in the world every single day don't wake up in the morning? I have no idea. But I imagine Google will probably tell you how many people in the world every morning, Posha, just don't wake up. And we did. Every single one of you woke up this morning. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that what to be thankful for? Yeah, but I'm having a hard day. Who cares? You're alive, you can breathe. It's unbelievable. Elokai, neshama, you should hear from somebody else. Lemaisa, if you cannot find anybody else, you can be makel to say it. Now, a person who's wake up all night, Birchas HaShacha, okay? You could say all of Birchas HaShacha, starting from Hanoisen until Hanoisen of Koyach, with the exception of Hamavishena. Hamavishena means remove the sleep. Obviously, well, if you didn't sleep, you can't say a lie. So you listen to somebody else, say it, and don't answer Amen before Yehi Ratzon. But you say the Amen after Gomel Chasad Tovim Le'amoy Yisrael. By the way, whenever you're listening to someone make a bracha, you do not say Baruch Hu Avok Shemai. You just say Amen. Okay? I don't want any of you guys running over on Shavuos morning. What do we do? You guys were here, you heard it, right? Okay, let us move on by saying eating before davening, very important shaila. Eating before davening. So obviously it's not negay the whole night, because the whole night you're allowed to eat. But the problem is, and this is a very common question that comes up, right? We know the Shulchan Aruch Paskins, the Semer Peites, there's an issa to eat before davening. Those of you that are familiar with the Zohar Kodesh from Shimon Bar Yochai, what he writes over there, if you look at the Kav HaYosher, he explains it beautifully, how a person has to be so careful to eat before davening. Hashem Yirachim. He writes that when you wake up in the morning, the blood isn't settled. And when you eat, you're not allowing the blood to settle for the rest of the day. And he talks crazy things. A person shouldn't eat before davening. In fact, the Shulchan Aruch's psak, by the way, is that if a person is so hungry that he can't daven, what should he do? So he should daven quickly himself, eat, and then go to the minyan afterwards to take Kaddish Kedusha. Ad Kedei Kach. Get to Shulchan Aruch is a little bit more makel, but Lemaisa, just to show you how chomer it is, right? So when does the issa begin? When does the issa of eating before davening begin? So it starts at Alois HaShacha. That means before Alois HaShacha, if you began, you can continue eating until Alois. But once Alois comes, really a person should stop eating. Obviously, with the exception of water and coffee, that's not a problem, you can continue going. But it's Nageya, right? It's the morning before Shachos, you want to have a couple of pieces of cake just to keep on going. Make sure you know what time Alois is and do it before then. But obviously, a coffee and tea and whatever, those sorts of things, that's not a problem. Bichlal in that case. Let's move on, Rabbi Say. Going to sleep, also very Nageya. Many people have the minhag not to daven nates on Shavuos morning. They stay up the whole night until Alois, and then they go to sleep. So if you wake the whole night, you're not really allowed to go to sleep from a half an hour before Alois HaShacha until you daven. So it's a problem. What are you meant to do? The answer is you appoint a shomer. You appoint somebody to wake you up for davening, then there's no problem. Or, if you cannot do this, the eitzah of the Mishnah Berurah is Lamaisa, the Sefer Ish Yisrael has a whole shtickle on this, is really to say Shema at Alois HaShacha and then go to sleep. That's what you could do in that case. Another question is, what about tzitzis? When you wake up after your sleep in the morning, so if you went to sleep with your tzitzis on, Shavuos Harizal, right? Then about there's no problem. But if you took off your tzitzis, and then you're going to put them as the Mishnah Berurah brings eitzah, is to put the tzitzis like as on top of your quilt, on top of your cover. And this way, when you wake up in the morning after the shuf on Shavuos morning, right, for your Suda, you could just put it on. However, if you did not do that, right, then you will have to actually have a new bracha when you put them back on. Another question is, should you say Krishma Alamita when you go to sleep in the morning? Again, this is after Shachris on Shavuos morning. You're now going to sleep for a few hours, so you'll be able to wake up for the Suda, whatever. So do you need to say Kriyish Malamita? The answer is no. You don't say Kriyish Malamita, but it is good to say Vayinoyem and Yoshev Beseisa. So it's the psak of the Chaya Odom, that before you go to sleep, you should say those two things before going to sleep. Okay, so those are the general things. I want to mention as well another very important halacha, and that is halacha which many of you are learning in the morning, right? You guys are learning Arvei Psachim. It's very Nageya, this one. Shulchan Aruch discussed this in Kufa and Chas, and that is the halacha of Shinoi Mokim. Shinoi Mokim means change of location. Very Nageya to Shavuos night. Why is it very Nageya? Because sometimes you're eating, you're drinking, whether it's in the coffee room over there, whether it's the Beis Medrash over here, and you go outside to have a bit of fresh air. The question is, when you come back inside, do you have to make a new bracha on that which you started drinking or started eating? Same din, if you're holding a coffee in your hand and you're going outside, would you have to make a new bracha, right? They're only learning this, right? Shinu Makam. You did this, you must have done a little bit of this, right? Such a gishmaka sugya. We have to discuss this one time by Arichas. It's a huge sugya. But just to give a little bit of the Rashi Prokim, first of all, in this Beis Medrash, from the coffee room to the Beis Medrash, obviously it's all Chadei Echad, it's one room, there's no shaila whatsoever, especially it's the derech, when you make a coffee, you're going to bring it into Beis Medrash, right? Where else do you go? So therefore, there's no problem with even if you took a sip from the coffee over there by the coffee room and you come inside, you don't have to make a new bracha. You're sitting over here in the Beis Medrash, and you take your coffee and you go out right over there, outside of the door over here, you don't have to make a new bracha. That outside of the door, Rav Scheinberg used to say, I remember Rav Scheinberg used to say that in Torah. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Torah. If you've ever seen the outside of Torah, the building of Torah, so outside there's like a little chotzer. You know what I'm talking about? Like mamish chotzer with like the gate around it. You know what I'm talking about? Anyone? Maybe doing Kiddush Levanon with their shivas itself. Anyway, so he used to say that Ba'avoneseinu harabim, that chotzer is a chelik of the building. People drive around over there, people schmooze over there. It becomes a chelik of the building. And therefore it's all one thing. So therefore, if you go outside of that of these two doors over here, just have a bit of fresh air so you can continue learning, even if you go out with your coffee, even if you don't go out with your coffee, but you come inside, you don't have to make a new bracha. However, if for example you go upstairs, either door, and you go onto the street, even if it's for one moment, and then you come back inside, you're going to have to make a new bracha on your coffee. Not your mezainis not, which we're not going to now because it's a bracha shatont, bracha achroina b'mkoimoi. But the Lemaisa on the shahakol things, hadoma things, ha'etz things, with the exception of Shivas Aminim, you will have to make a brand new bracha. So really, you shouldn't do that. Really, don't. Mishmur said you shouldn't cause yourself to do that. So therefore, don't go running around. It's a very important thing that a person has to remember. Another thing, without going into too many details now, because we could spend hours on this, and that is bracha achroina. Make sure you don't have too much time elapsing between finishing your food and drink and making bracha achroina, because you're going to have sfeikas, you're going to have problems. So the best thing is drink a coffee. Well, coffee generally won't require bracha achroina unless you're going to have a whole gulp at the end. But if you're having a Coca-Cola, or you're having, for example, an XL, an energy drink, have it, finish the share, break your bracha achroina, and you're done. Next time you make a new bracha rishona when you have the next one in half an hour time. But don't let there be too much time, because otherwise you're going to have sfeikas with bracha achroina. Am I still going to be able to make a bracha achroina? And if you lose your bracha achroina, the be'alach and some they should. There's something about this, whether or not if you lose your bracha achroina, if you have to make a brand new bracha rishona. So you don't want to get into all these bracha shilas, because like I said, Shavuos is the time of Kabbalah Torah. We want to keep the Torah. We want to show the Rabban Shalom that we're keeping to the law of the Torah that He's giving us on this day, and therefore it's important to know these halachas. If you do want a chazara, I suggest going through this book to have a look of a little bit of things that you have to do, because again, these are things that are going to come up in Shavuos morning the whole time. You're going to have to know these things. Perhaps maybe one of the limudim you could do on Shavuos night is going to be this Gevaldige book. I suggest it to everyone. Be'ez Hashem, we should be zeicha on Shavuos to have a emistik Kabbalah Torah with a sach siyata d'shmaya, and Be'ez Hashem, the Rabban Shalom will give us the matikas and the avos Torah that all of us want. Have a wonderful day.